Welcome to Back to the Future, where I watch the full movie so you don't have to. I'm your host Dwayne, and today we're watching the sci-fi classic The Terminator. The movie opens in 2029 with machines crushing human skulls like ants at a picnic. Laser fire fills the night as we meet the resistance, still fighting the good fight. After the opening credit sequence, we're back in the present time of 1984 Los Angeles. A trash man is working late at night when a lightning storm flashes around him and drops a naked Arnold Schwarzenegger nearby. The driver is smart enough to avoid big-ass naked dudes. He's gone. In all his naked glory, the Terminator strolls up to a group of punks who look like they make bad life choices for a living. As they mock their new friend, the Terminator just repeats everything they say. And yes, that is a young Bill Paxton sporting the blue mohawk. Things go south quickly when he demands their clothes and they respond by pulling a knife. The last man standing gladly starts undressing and gives up his less than fashionable 80s clothes. Meanwhile, another lightning flash drops a naked Kyle Reese in an alley. Kyle's on a mission, but first he's got to steal some hobo pants and dodge the cops. Kyle is confronted by a cop and confuses the guy when he starts asking the date, including the year. When reinforcements show up, he breaks into a store where he steals some more clothes and then a shotgun from a police cruiser for good measure. Once he's in the clear, he jumps into the nearest phone booth. You young people probably don't know what those are. Then he searches through the ancient text of his ancestors called the phone book, where he zeroes in on 3 listings for Sarah Connor. We meet Sarah Connor, a normal 80s girl arriving at her waitressing job. Little does she know she's about to be the most important person on Earth. The Terminator hits up a gun shop like he's buying snacks. The clerk thinks it's all fun and games until the Terminator decides to forego the mandatory waiting period, loads the shotgun, and kills him. The Terminator finds a phone book and the same list of names. He then pulls up to a house, killing a toy in the process, and knocks on the door. A woman answers and he asks if her name is Sarah Connor. She says yes, and that's all he needs to push through the door and shoot her 6 times. Back at the restaurant, Sarah's co-worker drags her into the break room to show her something on TV. It's a news story about a Sarah Connor being murdered. Kyle steals a car and tries to get some shut-eye. His dream is a flashback to the future he just left. He and other resistance soldiers are outgunned and outmatched, but they keep fighting anyways. At the police station, we meet Lieutenant Traxler as Detective Vukovich tells him about 2 murder victims both killed that day and both named Sarah Connor. The lieutenant is not too pleased about having to deal with the media on this one. Sarah's date bails on her, so she decides to go to the movies alone. Her roommate Ginger and her boyfriend Matt stay in for some sexy time. They're too busy to answer the phone when the police call looking for the last Sarah Connor listed. Sarah's eating some pizza when she hears her name mentioned on the news again. They mention that a second woman named Sarah Connor was murdered, so she grabs the phone book, those things were everywhere back then, and confirms that she is the 3rd and final one listed. Sarah hits the pavement and walks right past Kyle as he just stands there looking like a creeper. He's now following her and she knows he's following her, so she ducks into a nightclub called Tech-Noir. The place is packed with all kinds of 80s fashion disasters dancing around drinking fuzzy navels while smothered in Aquanet and Dracar cologne. Sarah tries to call the police, but their line is actually busy. What the hell? Back at her apartment, Ginger and Matt are the only ones home when the Terminator shows up. Matt goes down first. He's a big dude, so he tries his best to fight back, but to a Terminator, he's just a ragdoll to throw around. Ginger's oblivious to the battle royale happening in the bedroom because she has her headphones cranked. Seriously, they were making a lot of noise in there and she didn't hear any of it. Imagine her surprise when her boyfriend's dead body comes breaking through the bedroom door, followed by the Terminator. He's getting a lot of use out of that laser sight on his new gun too. A bunch of pew-pews hit her and she's dead too. In an example of the worst timing ever, Sarah calls home and leaves a message on the answer machine letting the Terminator know that not only is Sarah Connor still alive, but she's at the Tech-Noir club on Pico. Before he leaves, the Terminator takes her address book and gets a look at her student ID. Now he has a face to go with the name. Finally, Sarah reaches Lieutenant Traxler, who tells her to stay put because she'll be safe in public. Taking his advice, she grabs a chair while the Terminator waltzes through the front door without paying the cover charge. The Terminator does a lap around the dance floor while Kyle sits at the bar watching over Sarah. The Terminator finally spots her and makes his slow motion way over to her. Just as he pulls his gun in slow motion, Kyle jumps into action. With the red laser dot in the center of her forehead, it's about to be the end for poor Sarah. But not today, dear viewer. Not with Kyle Reese and his trusty sawed-off shotgun nearby. At the last possible second, he shoots the Terminator, saving her life. For the moment anyways. He unloads his shotgun into the Terminator's chest and he goes down. and that pretty much clears the room. The Terminator gets up and fires back at Kyle with his Uzi. He doesn't get Kyle, but he does manage to kill a bunch of bottles and glasses and a couple of patrons. I mean, really, who stands up in the middle of a gunfight? The Terminator turns his attention to Sarah as she's running away, but all he does is kill one of the Go-Go's. Sarah's trapped under the dead lady, but fortunately for her, the Terminator has to reload. This gives Kyle the opportunity to save her life again. This time he puts the Terminator down hard with point-blank shots to the chest. Then he delivers the iconic line to her.
"Come with me if you want to live."
She says, "I'll take I want to live for 200, Alex." As they run off, she sees the Terminator rise up once again. Kyle has some explaining to do, but first we have a crazy chase sequence. Everybody's running down an alley and then Kyle and Sarah escape in his stolen car. The Terminator tries to hitch a ride with them, but they turn him down. This is when we learn that the Terminator can mimic anyone's voice, including the cop he steals a car from. Kyle tries to keep Sarah calm as he concentrates on not wrecking. He's not doing a very good job at either task. He introduces himself and tells her that she has been targeted for termination. Oh, and that dude chasing her is a cyborg and a killing machine. They pull into a parking garage to try and lose the cops. While laying low in the car, he gets a chance to explain in a bit more detail. You know, little details like being sent back from the future to prevent the newest Terminator, the T-800 model, from killing her. She thinks he's crazy and tries to get away, but he finally convinces her that the Terminator will not stop until she's dead. It's time to find a new car as the police and the Terminator show up. They find a car to steal and she finally asks the right question. Why me? He tells her about a nuclear war that happens because the machines took over the defense network computers and launched all the nukes to wipe out humans. And they would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for those pesky resistance fighters. We learned Skynet, an AI defense network, nuked the world. Machines took over and John Connor, Sarah's future son, leads humanity's comeback. So yeah, no pressure, Sarah. The Terminator spots them and we've now got a rolling gun battle. Eventually they run out of road in downtown LA and the Terminator plows straight into a wall at full speed. Did you see his face bounce off that car pillar? That's gonna leave a mark. The cops pull up to rescue Sarah and arrest Kyle. When they check the wrecked cruiser, there's no driver because the Terminator might need some repairs after that crash. At the police station, Sarah learns about Ginger and Matt and asks how the killer was able to survive being shot. They explain this away by saying he was probably wearing a bulletproof vest and was high on PCP. Yeah, that's why. The Terminator climbs through a window of a seedy hotel room and it looks like that crash left a mark after all. His eye is all jacked up and his arm took some damage as well. This was an awesome scene at the time because it looked pretty realistic when he cut his arm open to expose the inner workings of his mechanical arm. Kyle gets interrogated by a skeptical psychiatrist. He sounds nuts, but we know he's perfectly sane. He lays out the whole story and tells them it was a one-way trip. He can't go back and neither can the Terminator. Back at the cyborg repair shop, we get a close-up view as the Terminator works to repair his busted-up eye. It's pretty gnarly and looks fake as hell, but by 1984 standards, it was pretty cool. Turns out the fix was just to put some shades on. The plan is for Sarah to camp out on the couch at the police station until her mom arrives to pick her up later. They make the foreshadowing claim about her being perfectly safe there because there's 30 cops in the building. The Terminator calmly walks into the police station and asks to see Sarah. After the desk sergeant tells him he'll have to wait, he just looks around and then drops what is probably one of the most quoted lines in movie history.
"I'll be back."
Seconds later, as promised, he came back by driving right through the front door and crashing through the front desk, killing the desk sergeant. Inside the building, it sounded like a bomb went off. What follows is pure carnage. The T-800 makes his way through the building, mowing down every cop in sight like he's playing duck hunt on cheat mode. Literally, some of these people were sitting ducks. The dude showed no mercy. Lieutenant Traxler and Vukovich both tried to take him down, but just end up getting themselves killed for no reason. Maybe they should have put on a bulletproof vest before engaging in a gunfight. I'm just saying. In the end, only Sarah and Kyle are able to escape the massacre. Sarah and Kyle hide under a bridge, patch up wounds, and talk about the future. Kyle admits he volunteered to come back because it was a chance to meet the legend Sarah Connor. I think someone has a crush. He tells her what life was like in his time and we get another flashback. We see Kyle and his resistance people in their underground bunker before a Terminator breaks in. It's a bleak existence for sure and there's nothing good on TV anymore. Kyle gets a brief moment to stare at a Polaroid of Sarah before all hell breaks loose. They don't have any special sensors or ring cameras to warn them about Terminators. They have dogs. In the morning, the Terminator is back in his room flipping through Sarah's address book. He's not looking too hot, he's starting to draw flies. I guess it smells pretty bad in there because even the manager is knocking at the door and commenting about the smell. This little interlude gives us the opportunity to see that whoever programmed the T-800 has a sense of humor. I wonder if this is something that ChatGPT thinks before it responds to your questions.
Fuck you, asshole.
The Terminator finds Sarah's mom's address and heads out. Sarah and Kyle check into a motel that luckily has a dog out front. Kyle goes out for supplies while she showers and calls her mom. Little does she know that wasn't her mom. She was talking to that sneaky Terminator the whole time and even gave him her current location. That's just dirty pool. Kyle returns with supplies and they spend the rest of the night making pipe bombs, and then Kyle starts confessing stuff. Things like being a virgin and the fact that he's always been in love with Sarah. He really knows how to woo a girl because that's all it took to get some sexy time. I mean, how else did you think she was going to get pregnant with the future leader of the resistance? They're all happy and whatnot afterwards, and then the dog starts barking. Yep, their old metal pal is back. He comes in guns blazing, but they slipped out the back and stole a truck. The Terminator jumps back on his motorcycle in hot pursuit. It's another rolling gun battle through the streets of LA. This one ends a bit differently though. Kyle gets shot and Sarah wrecks the truck while the Terminator gets ran over by an 18-wheeler. He gets mangled but survives with a limp, so he then hijacks that truck to go run them down. Kyle manages to place a pipe bomb on the truck after it goes past him to get to Sarah. The explosion destroys both the truck and the Terminator in a giant ball of fire. Sarah watches as the Terminator falls out of the truck completely engulfed in flames. A few moments later, she regroups with Kyle and they spot something rising up out of the fire. In one of the most badass scenes in the whole movie, this shiny metal skeleton comes limping out of the fire and it's pissed. It's the endoskeleton of the T-800 and this is what he looks like without his skin. And don't forget those beady red eyes. Sarah and Kyle make a run for it and end up in a dark robotics factory. Kyle stops to turn on all the machines hoping it will give them cover. The Terminator follows them inside and Kyle decides it's time to challenge it to a fight. Of course he gets his ass kicked, so he decides to see what a pipe bomb will do to its ribcage. It didn't quite turn out the way he wanted though. The Terminator got blown in half, Kyle got himself killed, and Sarah got a piece of Terminator metal stuck in her leg. She doesn't even get a chance to mourn Kyle when the Terminator's top half comes crawling after her. Of course it's an even race and she can't walk with her wounded leg. Where she crawls, he crawls. Sarah lures the killing machine into a hydraulic press and tells it, "You're terminated, fucker," just before she hits the button to crush it flat. In the epilogue, Sarah drives into the desert with a dog, a tape recorder, and a gun. She's pregnant, determined, and officially a badass. A kid cons her into paying for a picture he took of her, and when he hands it over, we see that it's the same photo that Kyle had in the future. Mind-blowing, right? The Terminator blew everyone's minds in 1984 with its mix of horror and sci-fi. Arnold became a legend, James Cameron became a powerhouse director, and audiences learned to fear the future of computers and artificial intelligence. I still love how lean and mean this movie is. No wasted scenes, no filler, just pure 80s intensity. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this movie. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below to help grow this channel. I appreciate you taking time out of your day and hope you will come back for the next Back to the Feature.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.